Back here on the Columbia College Coaches Show, Mediacom Channel 22. You're also watching online, ColumbiaCougars.com, where if you get into the volleyball page, you can see more of the accolades. Coach Washington only has 2 arms, so not enough to carry everything you guys brought between, if you include all of the AMC awards and the individual player awards and everything that took place at the national tournament. So quite a display, and obviously this is the big one here, the runner-up. For the national tournament, all the way to that top spot in that tournament. You knock off, let me see if I got it right, an 8 seed, a 6 seed, and then the number 1 team. Lee at the time was undefeated on the season. A big win over those guys to get into that tournament real quick. We'll get into more of that in a minute. I want to talk about your individual girls and some of their accolades. You got Paula Fajeda named the National Player of the Year. That's about as good as it gets.
That is. We've had a couple others at Columbia College in the past, and she joins an elite group definitely that it takes a lot of work to get that recognition, and you know, I'm very thankful that she was recognized and honored, because she's phenomenal and she works hard and good attitude. You know, she was our Champions of Character nominee also, and she got the Champions of Character award. So she conducts herself in a manner that, you know, you'd want your student athletes to be. That's what you want in an athlete.
Now, how does the voting for that work? Is that all the coaches from the tournament that make all the teams that made the tournament vote for that, or how is that?
There's a committee. There's a committee that all of the conference, all conference members. Then there's like a regional breakdown where all the players from each conference are compared, and then there's a committee that establishes a rank, and then the number 1 players from each region of the country are compared, and then they pick the National Player of the Year.
And she was also all-tournament team for the national tournament, as well as an All-American, along with Vesna Trivunovic, also on the all-tournament team, and then All-American status for those two as well.
You know, they released that after. I think that your performance at nationals has a little bit to do with it. As long as most of those players of the year in conferences and regionals do appear at the national tournament. So she had a phenomenal tournament. She played really well and really carried our team, and that probably helped her a little bit as far as showing those committee members who were at nationals, you know, her level of play and how she can do it.
And then also your lone senior, which is a good thing, although we don't like to lose tally. But you know, you get 1 senior, which means this team is young, and you're bringing everybody back for another run next year. But Tally also picked up some accolades, being on the all-tournament team as well.
Definitely. She was Libero of the Year in our conference, and unfortunately they don't carry that award up through nationals. There is no Libero of the Year, but she was one of the best, if not the best, in the country. And it's really difficult when you get into the All-American voting for a Libero, a position player. Sometimes it's difficult with stats, and you're comparing apples to oranges and a middle hitter and a Libero. And so it's sometimes difficult for them to get the recognition that they need. Plus other coaches are voting on that. You can't vote on your own players. So I really felt like Tally was one of the best, if not the best, Libero in the country. She's very talented. We're really going to miss her next year. And fortunately for me, she's going to be back finishing up her degree for a semester at least, and assisting me as a student assistant. So she's going to get to work with some of the returners.
There's a theme with that, you know, which is a good thing. I mean, that helps obviously, and that's something that she can teach any new, you know, and more, and just continue to use that experience level to keep continuing to grow the newer players that are joining you on your Columbia College sideline. One of the matches, Vesna Trivunovic, obviously, with as powerful as a serve or as a kill shot as she's got. I know in part of the match, at least listening to the Lee match, they kind of took her out of it for a little while. And you had some other players, you know, you're listening to the broadcast on ColumbiaCougars.com, and Kelly Corkum and Nicole Murphy, and it just kept going and going with a wave of everybody else filling in when she wasn't quite able to perform because of the other team or just wasn't getting the breaks.
Right. She had some tough matchups, and any team that looks at our stats are going to say, oh, over 4 kills a game, we need to key on this player and shut her down. And you know, we had the same goals playing CalBAP, playing every team that we played had their go-to player, and you know, our game plans were the same. Stop this player. So I think Vesna had some really tough matchups out there, and I think that all of our hard work, you know, around Vesna, we don't invest in one player to win a championship. We invest in the entire team, whether they're on the bench, on the floor. You know, it just takes one play and you're in, and you have to get the job done. So we really invest in all of our players and really worked hard. Serena Jenkins played a fantastic tournament. I could not believe the level of her play. Erin Pavlin, our freshman, fantastic tournament. I'm really proud. The 2 of those young ladies really showed up down there, and they really proved to me that I can win a championship with these girls. You know?
Well, the whole match, ever since we had Erin on the show earlier this season with her line and the program of main reason coming to Columbia College or choosing Columbia College was best opportunity to win a national championship, and that stuck with me listening to the match and seeing her then yesterday at the celebration, everything, knowing, you know, here she was a match away from pulling off that goal, and still has 3 more cracks at it for the rest of her college career, at least with the Cougars in the NAIA. We'll talk a little bit more about what happens next. You always hear, you know, the season comes to a close. Most teams, you know, there's only one that gets to finish with a win. And, you know, let's face it, those guys, and now I'm drawing a blank on who won the championship.
Fresno
Pacific, unfortunately, you know, that through, what, 4 in a row now?
Yes.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's a juggernaut. And so, you know, only one team finishes with a win. And now everybody kind of starts going, okay, where do we go from here? Segueing into next year, we'll pick the brain of a coach on a successful program and what comes next in an off season. The Columbia College Cougars National Tournament runners-up. The Coaches Show continues next on Mediacom Channel 22.